Hey everybody, and welcome back to Just for Bun. I'm Devin, and today on your Bunny Moms Basic, we're going to be talking about hay. So this is part 2 of our What Do Rabbits Eat series. I'm going to be doing this in a question and answer format, so I hopefully don't confuse you guys and I can give you the most information. So we're just going to go ahead and start. What is hay? Hay is going to be grass or legumes that have been dried. What's the difference between the two categories? Legumes, which are also often referred to as alfalfa and clover hays depending on your area. I always hear alfalfa hay. It's the most common, but other places they call it legumes. They're going to be higher in protein and calcium, so they're really good for young rabbits, but not so great for older rabbits unless they have some sort of weight problem or another health problem. But if you are vet recommended to feed that, you're going to need to watch their pee output to make sure that they're not getting any bladder sludge from too much calcium. And then grass hay is a lot higher in fiber and lower in protein and calcium, so it's going to be really good for adult buns. You can compare them online, and then why there's going to be different types of hay in your area. So the two categories are legumes and grass hays, and then legumes, alfalfa and clover, and then the grass hays, there's a lot of different types of grass hays, and there's also going to be warm types of grass hays and cool types of grass hays, which is why you're going to find in your area you might not have the same types of hay as me, but you can normally always order online or something like that if you really want a different kind of hay. So warm hays are going to be things like brome and Bermuda, and then there's going to be cool hays, which is normally Timothy and Orchard, which Timothy and Orchard are super common hays, is probably what you're going to hear the most. And then there's cereal grains, which is like barley, oat, wheat, and rye. And these are things that, when they are green, can be fed to your rabbit, but once they turn yellow, they're no longer for feed. They're generally used as straw, which, as I mentioned in my first video, straw and hay are two different things. Straw is good for bedding. So once those types of hay turn yellow, they are no longer good to be feeding to your rabbit. Most hays are going to be better when they're green. The greener the better. So that's the difference. Warm, cool, and cereal grain hays, okay? And then what is first, second, and third cut hay? It literally is just referring to the first harvest or the first crop that was taken, and then the second and the third. So the first time that a crop is going to be taken, it's going to be really high in fiber. It's going to be really stemmy, really coarse. It's going to, I don't know what words to use. It's going to be a lot harder. So it's going to be good to wear their teeth down. It's going to be good to give them a lot of fiber, but it's not going to be as leafy and delicious as the other ones. So second cut hay is what a lot of people get because it still has some of like the stems and the flower heads, but it also has leafy bits, which are a little bit tastier for your rabbit, but not as high in fiber. And then third cut is going to be the lowest in fiber, but it's going to be good for really picky buns because it's going to be the most delicious and the most appealing for them to eat. Because it's lower in fiber, it's normally good to mix that with another type of hay, but they're normally, no matter what you give them, they're going to pick out the pieces that are the tastiest first and then leave the more fibrous pieces for later. So why is hay good for rabbits? We talked about this a tiny bit last time. I kind of introduced it to you. So fiber is really what keeps your rabbit's stomach moving. So you don't want their GI tract to slow down. This can lead to GI stasis, and then once that happens, they can start to even form a blockage, and their bodies will start to remove moisture from their stomach area and their intestines, which is going to make the blockage more compact. So if you see your rabbit isn't eating or is in pain, you really want to get them to a vet so that they can administer fluids and make sure that it's not a blockage, because blockages can be really serious and your rabbit can pass in hours from a GI stasis issue or Another thing is dental issues, because rabbits' teeth are always growing. It's really important for them to have hay, because it's not just their front teeth that grow, it's all of their teeth. So you can find abscesses, and you can eventually find that it can affect their eyes because it'll literally grow right up there. So some rabbits do need to have their teeth removed at some point, and some rabbits do have teeth that grow faster than others, so you may have to get your rabbit's teeth clipped. It's really good to take your rabbit for a checkup once a year, even if there's nothing wrong, because if their teeth are overgrowing and you're not noticing it, it could really lead to an issue. So if they aren't eating as much, or they tend to be even eating a certain kind of food, like pellets are obviously going to be easier to eat. So if they're favoring a certain thing over something that might be harder or more painful to eat, like hay, that could be another reason that you'd want to see a vet. It helps you form good litter box habits. So they like to eat and go to the bathroom at the same time. So when you want to set up your litter box, you want to have hay in the litter box or a hay rack so that your rabbit can do its business and eat at the same time. And then it's a boredom breaker, because you give them a lot and then they have to shift through it all so that they can find like their favorite pieces. So it's kind of exciting, like, for them to search through and dig through. So if they make a mess, just clean it up. It's not a big deal. They're just having fun. It's part of having a rabbit. And then where to buy hay. You can obviously buy hay in stores. It's going to be more expensive to buy it from like a pet store. And it's probably not going to be the best quality, even though they say they extra search through it because it's in like those little bags. It's overpriced. It's probably been sitting on a shelf for a while. Hay does need air, so putting it in like those plastic bags probably isn't the best. And then if there's sunlight that hits it, that can also affect the quality of your hay and take away some of the nutrients and minerals. So that's really not the greatest either. But if you don't have any other choice, obviously hay is better than no hay. Buying hay from your local farmer is probably going to be the best. If you don't obviously know any people who have horses, or just going up to like a farmer, if you go to somebody with horses, you can just ask them who their hay supplier is. If you go to a farm, feel free to ask them, like, you're their business, so they're, you know what I mean? If you're nice, they're most likely going to be nice back to you because they're going to want your business. And you can, if you have the space, there's all sorts of different size bales that you can get. Like, I get a 50-pound bale that I buy online, but for the horses, where I work with horses, we get like 600 and 900-pound bales because we have a big barn to store it in. Obviously, you don't have to get that big, but just to tell you like the size comparison, you can get a couple ounces or you can get several 100 pounds. So depending on what space you have, you can obviously get better deals on hay. And then online, it's easiest for me because I could always go out to the horses and like bring my bin and fill it up, but I don't really feel like going through all that, so I just go to Chewy.com. I've also tried Small Pet Select. Both are really good, but Chewy's a little bit cheaper because it's 50 pounds for $50, and I think Small Pet Select is like 50 for 40 pounds, unless that changed, so it's just a little bit different. They're both good quality hays. The only difference really is that when you use Small Pet Select, you can kind of pick what cut you want. They have like first cut, second cut, third cut Timothy hay. I think they also have some other type of grass hays and probably alfalfa. I haven't really looked at their hay section since I don't buy it from there in a while. But on Chewy, they don't really have a first, second, or third cut options, so you're kind of just gonna get whatever you get. And back to the farmers again, you might not have third cut hay in your area because how I talked about warm and cool hays earlier, depending on the temperature of where you live, it might not have long enough summers either, so you might never get a third cut hay because your summers aren't long enough. And then I do see some people say that their rabbits won't eat hay, or their rabbit is allergic to hay, or they're allergic to hay. Normally, rabbits will eat what's available to them, so if your rabbit won't eat hay, it's probably because you're offering too many other things that they don't need to eat hay, or they're being picky and choosing those things over hay. Like I said, it could also be a dental issue, so you might want to get your bunny checked by a vet. And then it could also be like if your rabbit's sneezing a lot and you or you're allergic or your vet says that your rabbit's allergic to hay. It could always be the type of hay. It could be that your hay is too dusty, so try a different brand, try a different cut, try something dust extracted. Orchard hay tends to be more, is it the word hypoallergenic? I don't know, but it tends to have less allergic reactions. Timothy hay, a lot of people tend to be allergic to. So generally you're not allergic to all hay and your rabbit's not allergic to all hay. They're normally allergic to a certain type, or they're just having issues with so much dust or dirt that's in it. Also keep in mind, no matter where you get hay from, it's something that's growing outside, it's occurring naturally, it's always going to be different, it's always going to be greener, it's always going to be a little more yellow, it could be dirtier, it could be more dusty, you could find creatures that you don't want to find inside of it, dead or alive. So obviously if you find something like dead or moldy in it, you want to get new hay, and normally they're gonna replace it for you for free, no matter where you get it from. But although those aren't like positive things, it's natural, so don't you'll probably freak out a little bit, but those things are normal, so they're things to look out for just for the safety of your rabbit. But there's plenty of other plants that can be growing in a field if it's not cropped at the right time. There's plenty of animals and bugs and dirt and things that can get in those machines too when taking them out of the field. So don't be super alarmed, just handle it appropriately, and you will most likely get a free hay replacement, so it's not that big of a deal. Just go over some of the names, so like brome, Bermuda, Timothy, orchard, barley, oat, wheat, rye, and alfalfa, clover type hays. There's a lot more. The difference between grass and lucerne type hays again is that you want to make sure you're getting something that is age appropriate for your rabbit. So just if I didn't mention a type of hay on here that you've heard of, just Google it, or sometimes Bermuda and coastal hay are referred to, and they're basically the same thing. So you're going to find that there's going to be a lot of different things that it's going to be called, but as long as you're getting a grass type hay, so not an alfalfa, a clover, or different sorts of legumes, it's fine to feed to your adult rabbit, and it just depends on your area what you're going to find available, so don't freak out. If you don't have Timothy or Orchard, if you really want it, you can just order it online. If you're not in the US, which is where you can get the Chewy.com and the Small Pet Select, there's also Farmer Dave's Small Pet Supply, and I think on Amazon there's like a brand called JoJo's or something like that. If you are somewhere else, a lot of girls online, Timothy.co.uk I think is what it's called for people in the UK, and any place, I don't know all where they deliver to, but that could be an option if you're not in the United States. And I think that's about all. I tried to be really specific and go over literally like everything, because I see a lot of hay videos but they're really simplified, so I tried to really go into depth with it. I hope this was helpful, and I hope to see you again in part 3, which will be either veggies or treats. I'll let you guys choose again in the rabbit group online. And I will see you next time on your Bunny Mom basic course, and I hope you have a good day.